This is the new Mercedes-Benz A-Class, the baby Merc made for the young, rich and fabulous end of the market. Not that I'm claiming to be any of those things, but I'll give you a look around anyway. The big news with the new A-Class is this cool new infotainment setup. So these dual panoramic glass screens stretch right the way across the dash to house both the instrument cluster and all the fun multimedia stuff over here. It looks amazing and can be controlled in lots of different ways, like as a touchscreen, or this slick touchpad in the centre here, and also via voice control. So just like Siri, Bixby and Alexa, you can ask the A-Class to do something and it will do its best to do it. The slight problem being that, in my experience, it doesn't actually work very well. Now, maybe it's just my posh Dublin accent, but no matter how slowly I speak or how much I overpronounce my words, she just doesn't seem to understand me, and I'll show you what I mean now. Hey Mercedes.
How can I help you?
Can you play me some pop music?
Which genre would you like to hear?
Pop.
Which genre would you like to listen to?
Pop.
You can search for music from a certain genre by saying the name of the desired genre. The name of the genre you would like to hear, please.
Pop. Yeah, she's just given up there. She doesn't get it. Let's try something else. Hey Mercedes.
How can I help you?
Tell me a joke.
What would you like to do?
Tell me a joke.
The following FM stations can be controlled using your voice. 4 FM, 98 FM, BBC Radio 2, BBC Radio 3, Chill FM, Ecostphone,
Okay.
FM.
So that is pretty much how our conversations have been going all week. Now, apparently the longer you spend with the car, the more it gets to know your accent and pick up your voice and will gradually start to understand you better. So maybe it's just a slight language barrier that we need to get over. Anyway, the other controls work very well, especially this touchpad in the centre and these cool little touchpads on the steering wheel, which are my tools of choice. It's all very slick and responsive and the graphics are really good. The interior in general is very impressive and probably the nicest interior on a hatch this size there is, or at least in very close competition with the Audi A3 here. There's a really interesting mix of top quality materials and the ambient lighting at night adds a real touch of class when it's dark outside. Space and comfort are two more strong points. I spent 6 hours on the road in it yesterday and the range of adjustment in the seating is great. It's very easy to get comfortable behind the wheel and there's plenty of storage areas to stash your bits and bobs. I would, however, advise that you keep the door bins just for drinks because they're not lined and so any keys or coins you throw in there are going to rattle around like mad, which, funnily enough, is not a problem you'll have with the Volkswagen Golf or the Ford Focus. Space in the back of this A-Class is better than it was in the previous one and it feels pretty average for the class. Legroom is decent, not so much in the middle because you've got this big hump to contend with, but it's not bad. It feels pretty plush back here too, the materials are very nice and they've added some nice little thoughtful touches like magazine holders and USB ports. Now they have made the slightly odd and maybe a little bit premature decision to make them mini USB ports, which means for the time being most of us are still going to have to use adapters and there's only one supplied with the car. Now, apparently that's what we're all going to be using in the future, but right now it's just a bit of a pain in the boot space has also improved. It now measures in at 370 litres, which is about average for a family hatch. It's got a good wide opening and the seats fold individually, even the middle one, making it perfect for carrying golf clubs or other sporting equipment for the less glamorous amongst us. So a quick word on spec before we take it on the road, and I know this bit is boring, but bear with me because it's actually very good. Standard features include a leather steering wheel, heated seats and a reversing camera. And surprisingly enough, the dual screen is actually a standard feature on the entry-level model. Now that's quite impressive when you consider that Audi's virtual cockpit is an option even on the S-Line. The screens are smaller on the entry-level model though, and they're also divided by a bit of plastic in the centre here, so it doesn't look quite as good and you don't get this nice panoramic effect. So if you want this setup, which you obviously do, you're going to have to upgrade to the progressive model, which ups the style stakes with a distinctive grille, 17-inch alloys, LED headlights and a leather interior. Or this AMG line model, which is the one that you're really going to want because it adds some very significant styling upgrades, including a sporty AMG line body kit, 18-inch alloy wheels and sport seats. Now when you put it side by side with the standard model, it actually looks like quite a different car, and this one is much nicer. Engine choice at the moment is limited to a 1.5 litre diesel or this 1.3 litre petrol, available in varying power outputs from 109 all the way up to 163 brake horsepower, which is what this nippy little A200 model spits out, and it delivers it beautifully. They're all mated to a 7-speed automatic gearbox. The manuals aren't due to arrive until next year, and the power uptake is just silky smooth with perfect shifting for a really nice effortless feel. It's great to drive, it handles really well. There's a nice lightness to the steering and to the car in general that just makes it feel nice and agile, nippy enough, but also nice and relaxing if you just want to switch off on a long motorway journey. The suspension also feels really well judged, and it manages to iron out any not so great road surfaces with very little drama. Overall on the road, it's an A+ for the A-Class from me. Other things that I'd give it an A for are the looks. It's a very pretty car, and the interior, which is just fabulous. Also this steering wheel, which is lifted straight from the S-Class and is a bit of a work of art really. Things that I'd mark good but needs improvement are that voice control system. Now not the MBUX system itself, which is actually very good, and also those slightly patchy areas of quality in certain areas that you just don't expect for the price tag. And oh yeah, about that, the cheapest A-Class you can buy at the moment starts at €31,500. Or if you want this A200 AMG line with all the bells and whistles, it's going to set you back €42,500. Now that is quite a big chunk of change for a hatchback, I know, but if you want the best that this segment can offer, then the A-Class does deliver in nearly every area. I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts on this one, so please do let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like and share if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you'd like to see more like it.